have you seen the EFL's new proposals for how the Championship playoffs could work in a couple years' time, where 8th place, yes, 8th place, a third of the way down the Championship table, can get into the playoffs and therefore have a shot at promotion to the Premier League? This is something I strongly disagree with, and as much as I try and be balanced on this channel and try and offer two sides to an argument, which I will do today, this is something where I could see quite a bit of a backlash and quite a lot of feeling that if it's not broken, don't fix it. Guys, be sure to share your thoughts on this development, and at the moment I think it's just a proposal, so let's not get carried away and say it's actually happening yet, but it could happen. So share your thoughts, and while you're there, drop a like and subscribe. Now then, before we come on to some balance in terms of what people might think of this proposal, in terms of the positives and the negatives that might come with it, what are the Championship playoffs for anyone that doesn't know? Well, currently, 3rd play 6th in a semi-final over 2 legs, and 4th play 5th. The winners meet in the final and they go up with 1st and 2nd. I've grown up with this, so it's what I'm used to. Maybe if I was a football fan before the playoffs, at the time they proposed the playoffs, I might have thought, oh, it's a bit harsh on 3rd. But as I say, it's something I've always grown up with, and it definitely does make for an exciting end to the season. You know, if it was just 3 up, 3 down without playoffs, I do think it'd be very stale. So I agree with the jeopardy side of things, but I feel like it's got to be balanced in a way. You can't just let everyone have a shot that's down towards mid-table. I think 6th is... Look, you can make an argument that it could just be 3rd versus 4th, but once again, would that mean that the end of the season is quite stale? Possibly. So I think, as it's something I've always grown up with, I like the playoff format, but as I say, if you're an older football fan, you might not have liked the idea when it first came to pass, because essentially, if 3rd place get 20 more points than 6th place, you'd think, on merit, they should be the team to be promoted, but it might not work out that way. I do push back against the argument that some people make that, well, if 3rd are good enough, they would win the playoffs anyway. Well, that's not really how it works, is it? You don't have to prove yourself twice. How come 2nd place can just go straight up, but 3rd have to, you know, prove themselves again against 6th place, who might have got 20 points less? So that's just offering some balance on the current playoffs. But as I say, I like them. I think they are fit for purpose, although there's definitely always going to be an argument that 3rd place should just go up anyway. So let's talk about the positives and the negatives of the new proposal. Well, if 7th and 8th can get into the playoffs, that definitely means there's more jeopardy, and it definitely means there'll be more to play for in the final couple of weeks of the season, because if you're 12th with 3 games to go, you might win 3 in a row and you might finish 8th. So it certainly sucks in more teams from the middle of the table, and makes more jeopardy, as I say. It makes more entertainment, and you can make the argument that it might change which teams get promoted, because obviously the current cycle is quite stale, with the same old parachute teams finishing in the top 3 or 4, and if you were to drag in someone like Millwall, who have finished 8th over the last couple seasons, then yeah, maybe they'll go up instead. So overall then, the positives of this new proposal, I would say, are jeopardy, the chance of maybe someone different getting promoted as well, and as far as Sky are concerned, possibly more money. Well, definitely more money if you're going to get a playoff quarter-final, which will now be on TV and what have you. So there's the positives. Okay, there definitely is some positives, even if you don't agree with this proposal. Negatives. Does it make the league even more meaningless? Well, to an extent, yes it does. I mean, if you finish 3rd and 8th place gets promoted, there could be a gap of about 25 points. I mean, yes, once again, 3rd do have the advantage because they go straight into the semi-finals, and they get home advantage 2nd in the semi-final, so they still get somewhat of an advantage. But if 8th place just suddenly hit form at the right time, they could get promoted, and like I say, it makes the 46 game season feel a little bit less meaningful. Once again, it's harsh on the teams that finish 3rd and 4th. I mean, if we take the National League as an example, look at this. Only last season, York City, 2nd place, how many points was that? 96, over 2 points per game. And Oldham got promoted in 5th place. It could have been Southend in 7th. They got to the final. They had 68 points. There was nearly 30 points gap between Southend and York, and Southend were the team that got to the final, not York. Now look, it was great, that playoff final between Southend and Oldham. If you're going to ask me in terms of entertainment, the playoffs definitely bring that over just 2 teams getting straight up promoted and no playoffs. There is also a separate argument here, by the way, as far as the National League is concerned, that it should be 3 teams get promoted and therefore 3 teams come down from League 2. It definitely feels like a bottleneck, so at least in the Championship to the Premier League, 3 go up. By the way, I've seen some people saying, could more or less teams get promoted from the Premier League? I feel like 3 is the sweet number. If you had just 2 teams going up, it'd be very hard to get promoted. If you had 4 teams going up, then it'd be quite difficult to stay up if you get up, because 4 teams then come back down. So I think 3 is the perfect number in terms of promotion from Championship to the Premier League. Another negative as far as this proposal is concerned is, what are they going to change next? It does make you think, where's the line? Where are they going to draw the line? Once again, to the people that might say, well, if 3rd place are good enough, they should win the playoffs anyway. Well, why don't we drag 2nd into it? Are 2nd good enough? What about 1st? Let's drag them all into it. Why should 1st and 2nd definitely go up? I mean, I personally think they should, but do you know what I mean? It's subjective. Where is the line? Who should definitely go up and who should only have a chance of going up? And what about extending the playoffs further down the table? I mean, if some people are going to say 8th is okay, then there might be some people that say extend it down to 10th place. Obviously, I think if you're let's think of clubs that just finish outside the playoffs. So you've got Millwall, Blackburn. As far as they're concerned, I think they would welcome it a bit more, just because it gives them a bit more of a chance of getting in there. But essentially, the teams that will probably suffer quite a lot from this is 5th and 6th place. And also, as far as jeopardy is concerned, you know how we said, obviously it could mean there's more teams trying to squeeze into the playoffs on the final day. Well, take Coventry, for example, who finished 5th last season and 5th 2 seasons ago as well. Maybe we'd have actually not had anything to play for on the final day if we just needed to secure a top 8 finish on the final day. So it can actually take away a bit of jeopardy from the teams that are 5th and 6th going into the final games, if that makes sense as well. So that argument does work both ways. So then overall, from where I am concerned, there are more negatives than positives about this proposal. Look, I might be coming at this from a biased standpoint because, you know, I'm not necessarily for this, so I probably can find more negatives than positives. And if you can find any other positives as far as this is concerned, then get them in the comments, by the way. This is an open conversation. There's nothing wrong with having a different point of view. But I do have the feeling, and it is just a hunch, that I think more of you would agree with what I've had to say than disagree. I just think, I just don't know where they start to draw the line in the future in terms of how many more teams can sneak into the playoffs. And like I say, the main thing that does worry me is just the fact that it makes a lot more of the league games meaningless if more teams get into the playoffs. As I say, there's positives as well, and let's be realistic, what is probably the biggest positive as far as the people at the top are concerned: money. To be fair, they might want to see some different faces trying to get to the Premier League, but I'm sure Sky Sports in particular will be thinking about those playoff quarterfinals that they can now put everywhere. So, share your thoughts. Let's see where this goes. At the moment, it's a proposal. But there's definitely strong opinion on this both ways, so I'm trying to be balanced, but I definitely have to be realistic and say I see more negatives. Share your thoughts. That's it. I just wanted to do a quick video on this because it's on the Championship, and I presume this would come into practice in League 1 and League 2, and we cover the EFL predominantly on this channel. Drop a like, subscribe. I will see you all very soon. Take care, everyone. Peace out.